Hey everybody, this is David here, aka Chessman, and today I'm continuing my series where I cover all the chess openings. Last few videos we've been covering the Roy Lopez, and just to show you real quick, the Roy Lopez is e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, and what we've been covering is the Morphy defense, which is a6. And we covered so far when bishop goes to e2, bishop goes to c4, and bishop takes c6. Today we're going to cover bishop to a4. This is called the Columbus variation, and it's also the main line. So there's a lot to cover. And this video is pretty much an introduction to this variation, and I'm going to go over briefly all of the different variations you can get out of this line, the main variations that are main theory, and then I'm going to make different videos on each one. Some of them, if there's not much to cover, I might combine them into videos, but so today we're just going to touch upon each variation. All right, so in this document over here, first of all, I put in all the moves that have been played against bishop a4, and these are all the moves that have been played. And basically, I put if it had a name, I put the name, and I put what the computer rated it. So, for instance, knight f6, the rating is a 0.39. So it's and I put them in the order of the best rating to the worst. So knight f6, according to the computer, is the best move you can play against bishop a4. So knight f6. But the other moves that have been played are bishop e7. That doesn't have a name either. b5 is called the Caro variation. d6 is called the modern Steinitz defense. Knight g to e7 is called the Cosio defense. g6 is the deferred Fianchetto defense. Bishop c5 is the deferred classical defense. Then there's h6, bishop to d6, queen to f6, knight to d4 is called the deferred bird's defense. f5 is called the deferred Schliemann defense. Bishop b4 is called the deferred Alapin defense. And then also f6 and d5 have been played. If you want to learn them all, then take notes and put them all down. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover every single one in a different video. I'll probably cover most of them, but the ones I'm not sure. If it's a gambit, I might cover it even if it's bad, because in a gambit you're supposed to go down a pawn usually. So I might cover it, but if it's not a gambit, I probably am only going to stick to the ones that are pretty good. But we'll see. Depends how many videos of the Roy Lopez I want to have. If I want to have like 50 videos of the Roy Lopez, then I'll cover them all. But if I only want to have like 10, then I'm going to have to pick which ones I cover. Again, if I can, I might combine some into one video. Okay, so next, the main line is knight f6. And so I put knight f6 in the computer, and I played all the moves that have been played against knight f6. And these are all the playable moves. If my computer will work. All these. So castles is the best move. It's the main move. Next is d3, which is the Anderson variation. Next is knight c3, which is the Tarrasch variation, followed by d4, which is the Mackenzie variation. Bishop takes c6, which is the Bayreuth variation. Queen e2, which is the Wormald attack. And c3 is the Jaffe gambit. I'll probably cover all of them. Maybe in separate videos, or I might combine them. I'm not sure. Once I start going through the lines and I see how much there is to cover, that'll tell me if I need to combine some, because some of them there might not be that much theory. Okay. So the main move is castles, And after castles, these are the main moves. So again, according to the computer, the best move is knight takes e4. This is called the open defense. The next best move is bishop e7, which is the closed defense. Next is b5, which is the arc-angulus defense. Then there's d6, which is the Russian defense, and bishop c5, which is the Mahler defense. Some of these openings, I think the Russian defense has a different name depending on where you look. So if there's a different name, just it's not a big deal. So okay. So the main move though is bishop e7. Even though the computer says that knight takes e4 is slightly better, but the computer could change its mind. But the main move is bishop e7. This is the closed defense. And so if you play the closed defense, these are all the moves that have been played against the closed defense. And the best, according to the computer, is rook e1, which is the closed defense. The second best move is d3, which is the Martinez variation, followed by knight c3, which is the Morphy attack. Then bishop takes c6, which is the delayed exchange variation, followed by d4, which is the center attack. Then queen e2, which is the whorl attack. And then the rest of the moves don't have names. There's queen e1, there's c3, there's h3, a3, c4, and bishop b3. And they're all pretty much playable. So again, there's so much to cover. I'm not sure if I'll be able to cover all of them in videos. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm trying to organize it in my mind, and it's a mess. So I'm going to do the best I can. Maybe I'll combine all these. Maybe I'll combine these ones into one video. It's just I don't know what to title it. Off openings in the closed defense. I'm not really sure. All right. Like this one I can just call the whorl attack. So, but these ones I don't know what to call them. So it's kind of hard for me to think of what kind of videos to make. Okay, so the main move is rook e1. So now after rook e1, the only two moves that have been played that are played against rook e1 is either b5 or d6. And b5 is slightly better. And b5, bishop b3, this is the closed defense as well. This is continuing the closed defense. And d6 is called the Averbach variation. Now, the main variation, though, is b5, bishop b3. That's continuing the closed defense. And the main moves are these. There's castles, there's d6, and bishop b7. Castles is the martial and the anti-martial, and d6 doesn't have a name, and bishop b7 is the Traktovich counterattack. And all right, so let's see. All right, what do I have next here? I got, let's see. So next we're playing, if we play d6, c3, and castles, this is the main line of the Ruy Lopez. And I believe it's continuing. Yeah, it's called, if you play h3, so this is continuing the closed defense. If you play h3, which is the main line, that's also called the Keres variation. Next is a4, which doesn't have a name. Then there's d3, which is the Pilnik variation, followed by d4, which is the Yates variation, bishop c2, which is the Lutikov variation, and a3, which is the Sutin variation. And they're all playable. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to cover all of them in separate videos. Alright. Okay, so now let's see. So this was if you played d6. If you don't play d6 here and you play castles instead, then we enter the martial and the anti-martials. So there's a bunch of moves you can play. One is called the martial attack, one's called the anti-martial variation. But some people, if you don't play the martial attack, they just call any move you play as the anti-martial. So all of these could be called the anti-martial, except c3. c3, d5. Okay, so if you want to get into the first move you can play with, which is the best move by the computer, is c3. If you play c3 and your opponent plays d5, this is called the martial attack. So if you want to avoid the martial attack, you could play h3. You could play a4. This is called the anti-martial variation. You can play d3. This is called the Anderson variation. You could play knight c3, a3, d4, queen e2, c4, and bishop d5. Those are all playable moves. And somehow I'm going to cover them all. So, okay. Now, if we follow the main line, though, and let's go back, and we play d6, which is the main line. Then we play c3, castles, and the main line is h3. So from h3, we're almost done here. We get these last few variations that are known theory. And then after that, as far as I know, there's no more known theory. Well, I mean, you could look up Grandmaster games and stuff, and there may be known theory now, but this is it for variations that you can look up, I believe. I don't believe there's any more with names. Okay, so from here, you could play bishop b7, which is the Zaitsev variation. You could play rook e8. You could play knight b8, which is the Breyer variation. You could play bishop e6, which is the Como variation. You could play bishop d7. You could play h6, which is the Smyslov variation. You could play knight a5, which is the Chigorin variation. You could play knight d7, which is the Karpov variation. Now, these last three moves aren't as playable, but they are still playable. The computer just doesn't like them as much. But you can play queen to d7, a5, and rook to b8. All right, so those are all the different variations you can get out of the Ruy Lopez if you play the main line. Of course, there's tons of variations you can play that isn't the main line, but they're just not known as anything. They're just chess. It's just chess. So somehow I'm going to try to cover all these because I want to be thorough, but it's going to take me a long time. It may take 50 videos. They may be shorter videos, so that'll be good because I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I don't want to overwhelm people. But I guess that's it for today. I'm not sure which one I'm covering next. I have to think about it. I don't know if I want to go through the main line first or if I want to choose something else. But if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I hope you took good notes. Feel free to go back and pause and take some notes. I expect maybe 10% of my viewers might actually do that. The other 90% probably won't. So hopefully some of it will just stick in your brain. And I hope those of you who really want to improve your chess will figure out how to use this information to help you figure out which lines to learn. But I put all the information here, so use it. I hope I'm guessing there are people who are smarter than I am who will be able to use this information, and that's my goal. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.